Lights down low, y'all, because it's late. Okay. I don't know what team it was that I just watched go on the road in Pittsburgh on Sunday Night Football and win in the fashion that they did. But whatever team that was, they showed up ready for a fight. That's what I do know. And that was a lot of fun to watch. That felt like classic vintage Cowboys Steelers right there. At least everything that I've studied in regards to it and have been led to believe that it used to be. Okay. Lights down low because it's late. Appreciate y'all being here with me. I know there's a few other crackheads out there that got too much adrenaline to even think about getting some rest right now. Though I do need it. I know that it's very much necessary. Hey, look, man. We got stuff to talk about because the Cowboys answered the bell. And the coaching staff especially deserves a ton of credit for the performance tonight. We've been very critical, deservingly so. We've been very critical of the country club Cowboys that you'll see all over my YouTube and social media platforms. We've been very critical of their inability to adjust, right? To not be the most one-dimensional football team that I can remember seeing as just an adult who at least feels that if I'm mature enough to really understand how team building works and what wins in the postseason. Okay. That Cowboys team that showed up tonight is a different version of the Cowboys team that's been embarrassed numerous occasions throughout the last couple of years, over and over again, in the same exact fashion. Against the San Francisco 49ers, against the Detroit Lions, or I'm sorry, what we predicted to be against the Detroit Lions and the Pittsburgh Steelers and the 49ers in 3 consecutive weeks, followed by the Falcons leading into the trade deadline, right? But of years past, the Buffalo Bills last year, 2023, the Green Bay Packers. This was a different energy tonight. So first and foremost, I have to say, I want to give a shout out to the front seven. That even despite all the excuses in the world as far as injuries are concerned, right? Absolutely decimated. About as decimated as you can possibly imagine any football team being. But they showed up ready for a fight. And that's the coolest part about this whole thing. They stopped the run. Granted, it's a Pittsburgh team that wants to run the football, even though they're not very good at it. They want to do it, and they're pretty physical when they do it, considering they got 240-pound ball carriers that they'll throw at you 40 times a game. I talked about all this. Okay. Maniacal effort. That's point number one. We'll get to some of these comments here in just a second. Make sure y'all hit that like button for me, okay? Lots of people working tonight. Or I should say there are other people working at 1 a.m., starting a live stream at 1 a.m. tonight after you just put out a reel when the Cowboys game ends, okay? But there aren't many. So at least you could do right now if you're checking in with me, when you're listening to this, whenever the case may be, tomorrow morning on your commute to work, hit that like button for me and tell a friend where to find me because we're not going anywhere fast. But everything that we've talked about in the preview for this matchup, as far as what the Cowboys would have to do to win, they did. The Steelers' offense is garbage. Yes, it is. But you know what has been even more garbage than the offense that you speak of over the course of the last, let's just call it 18 months, is the Cowboys' defensive front against teams who want to play the style of football that the Pittsburgh Steelers do. That's what's been more garbage. Okay. So yes, this is not, and as you'll see, go check me out, man. Google me. The last thing I parted with in the reel that I posted is let's see it 2 weeks in a row now. Can you do it again? Thank you for the gift, OD. Appreciate that. Unpacking this, trying to move through it quickly, but the more people that show up, the more people that interact, the longer I'll stay. Going to try to process all this stuff. And that's a good question. We'll get to that too. Okay. Tyler Guyton left with an injury, remained questionable as far as I'm concerned throughout the remainder of the game. I have to go back and look to confirm. I'm not going to speculate here, and I certainly don't want to create any unnecessary narratives. But even despite all the madness and the chaos that was happening with the Cowboys being decimated by injury tonight, I wonder if one of those specific injuries was a blessing in disguise. Do the Cowboys consider going to Tyler Smith at left tackle? Maybe at least, maybe just for one more week, or till the bye week, or for a few more games against the toughest opponents. Is that a we're seeing the Chiefs kind of do the same thing with their rookie left tackle. Could the Cowboys kind of maybe pick and choose a little bit how they want to deploy their front five? Continuity is king with the offensive line, but listen, looked a little bit different when Tyler Smith over at the left tackle spot today with TJ Bass to his right, immediate right, and Cooper Beebe in the middle. I still have very high hopes for the what's between the ears of Tyler Guyton, and obviously the physical tools are astronomically high. Okay. But I'm just if what's in the best interest of not only your quarterback, your offense, but your team, right? I'm curious if that was a blessing in disguise. We'll see. I'll look at it and I'll report back. Okay. And for those who are on the YouTube side of things, my Venmo and my Cash App right there are listed. But I know y'all saw like the borderline reckless abandon. Okay, that's one of the two keys that we teased. The second key, I don't know if I've mentioned that yet. If I haven't, I'm going to go ahead and say it again, was Mike McCarthy putting on for his city, right? His hometown of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 10 days to get ready for this matchup, to find some way to run the football. And they did that. Okay. The Rico Dowdle that we saw in the preseason, in training camp, and in moments of years past, he showed up in a big way tonight, which I wasn't necessarily surprised by, right? Because I've been waiting to see it. I've been curious. Like I was critical openly of him making weird vision decisions in recent weeks this year, when he's clearly, it's on a platter for him to be the lead back. I talked about Kevontae Turpin being used in the same way that I advocated for Brandon Cooks to be used in the video that I posted last week prior to the knowledge of Brandon Cooks having an infection in his knee that placed him on IR. Is Brandon Cooks cooked? Once I found out he was going on IR, pretty safe assumption to just say, hey, look, you got another guy that can do a lot of the same things. Let's go ahead and do that. Come on, Mike. What are we waiting for, man? And he did it. Mike showed up. Look, I'm going to show you guys a couple quick examples here because we don't have a ton of time. Like I said, still processing, unpacking all this right now, as I'm sure many of you are, trying to get to some of your questions as best I possibly can. But I would strongly, if you do have a pressing question, hop over to the YouTube side of things. That's where I'll see it. You can guarantee I'll see your question there. Let's talk about weaponizing Hunter Lipke, or let's just think about it. It's one of the things I've been calling for. Motion before and at the snap. One of the things I've been calling upon. Check. This play right here, if you're on the YouTube side of things, once again, it's the best place to follow along, especially on these live situations right here, okay? I can give you guys visuals and talk through it with you. That's the one thing I try to do. I try to make it as palatable as possible. You guys know this. This right here. Okay.
There's going to be so many crosses in here that Ferguson
That's a condensed bunch formation with mesh or rub concepts at the stem. Okay. Look at all that misdirection that's happening right there within that route combination.
There's going to be so many crosses.
Bunch formations, rub routes equals natural separation. It does not have to be complicated. Okay, let's look at the next example. And I'm spitting these out live. So it gives me, it honestly simplifies the recap process, the instant reaction process, when I can just go through these different reference points that I've taken videos of and posted in real time on my Twitter timeline. But like, here's some more of that maniacal effort that we're talking about right here. Flying downhill to the football.
Perfect that time by Leofau.
Nobody was surprised to see Marius Leofau make flash plays in this game. Nobody that's following me.
Perfect that time by Leofau.
Marvin Overshone is well documented. He showed up. He answered the test. This was the perfect game style, the phone booth, 12 and 13 personnel caliber style of football that the Steelers want to play, right? We talked about them matching the blue collar nature of their city. Okay, that's how they play football. They're perfectly content winning a defensive struggle, and they're good at it. Okay, but right here, this is humongous. Pre-snap motion, orbits back the opposite direction at snap motion. This is a critical third down. All right, guys, look, this third and one, right? Weeks past, and even many occasions last year, we've studied it. We talked about this together. Okay. And once again, the best way to get your questions seen and answered is on the YouTube side of things. So please, if you're joining me on TikTok, I would appreciate y'all hopping over there, saying what's up, and interacting with the chat over on that side too. And you can also just see and follow along more closely, more clearly with what I'm doing here. Okay. Look at this, guys. I mean, they would go, the Cowboys, we've been very critical of Mike McCarthy and the stagnant style of offense, the archaic ways of basically having all of their receivers from a standstill. Okay. No misdirection in motion, creating hesitation, forcing communication, giving your offense a leverage advantage, and also giving your quarterback coverage tells. That wasn't happening nearly enough. But on this play right here, this is one of the many and critical moments that we saw them tap into that a little bit tonight. So once again, credit to Mike McCarthy. Look at this. I'm documenting it for you in real time, so you can hear me just explaining it. Like, it's not that hard, y'all. Here we go. All right, guys, look, this is exactly what we've been talking about. Pre-snap motion, orbits back the opposite direction, at snap motion, downhill with a 240-pound back, misdirection with Jake Ferguson, all at the same time. Multiple different options there in the running game on gotta-have-it situations. It's really not that difficult, y'all. It's not. Time well spent in the mini-buy so far. Checking the boxes, the two keys to this game that we talked about in the preview. Two keys. Check and check. Check. Got to execute in the red zone now. All right, guys, look, this is exactly what we've been talking about. Now, I promise right now, that's going to look, that play right there that I just showed you, that 3rd and 1, that's going to look even better from the end zone view when the all-22 drops. Because you're just going to be able to see all the different things that are happening come across the defense's eyes at the time the ball is being snapped. So you got so much information, all that you're trying to process and break down and trigger and key on right now. Okay. Another interesting thing that we got to talk about here, the Chris Collinsworth, for some reason, was obsessed with, he kept it just felt like almost blatant negative bias towards the Cowboys, and I don't know, you guys can let me know. He kept trying to respin this narrative of the Cowboys having drama happening on the offensive side of the ball. He referenced it on like the 2-minute drill when they're, on their game-winning drive, like trying to go down and win the football game. He's talking about, the Cowboys are clearly having to overcome a lot of things right now, or anyway. But he says something along the lines of CeeDee Lamb yelling at Dak, and uh, but I wasn't sure, so I'm terrible at reading lips, so I pulled the chat, or I pulled my Twitter timeline, and I got a bunch of the same answer. And then now that they said it, they kind of pointed me in the right direction. It makes so much sense, and I'm convinced that this is exactly what CeeDee Lamb said right here. Okay, and I was respectful towards Collinsworth because I wasn't sure if those were his intentions or not, to make it, to come off in that manner. But I said the television broadcast skewed reality just a tad. After further review, it seems that CeeDee Lamb, after Dak's interception, said, and you'll see it right here.
Something's wrong.
See, Chris Collinsworth blatant. Something's wrong. Like, no crap, dude. There's a miscommunication of some sort. Dak threw a pick. Yes, something's clearly wrong, but you don't gotta insinuate deeper things unnecessarily. So if you're not sure, okay, read CD's lips along with me. Jump balls, 4. Jump balls. I got you. And then he's saying Dak doesn't even acknowledge him. Well, that's because Dak's sitting there looking at the iPad, trying to figure out what he saw and what CD did so that he can fail forward, learn from the mistake, and move on, which once again is what he did. And as you see on the reel that I posted on every platform already, the instant reaction. Okay. Dak played like crap tonight. He did not have his best game. He tried to force a few things. He was backpedaling a lot unnecessarily. So, like, I'll say it, borderline seeing ghosts, because he doesn't trust his offensive line, particularly the 2 tackles. And once again, for good reason. Okay. But there are growing pains happening over there, and he doesn't trust it. But you don't hear a word from him about it. Okay. All you got to do is watch, though. His actions dictate his feelings internally. Right? It's the pocket is a problem. So he's backpedaling unnecessarily and trying to throw and deliver all these footballs are going across the middle of the field completely off balance. Okay. Wouldn't advise it, but he handled the hand that he was dealt well. Okay. And he showed up down the stretch when it mattered the most. And that's all that you can ask for. Okay. But the bigger thing here, the thing that's more impressive to me, get to some of these comments here, right? The Cowboys were the most physical team on the football field tonight, on both sides of the ball. A team that was last in the league in rushing success rate. They couldn't run the football. Last in total rush yards. 32nd overall, guys. I don't just say things to hear myself speak. Let's get the stats pulled up, because I don't even know. But Rico ran for a lot of yards tonight. He was very effective. Why? Because they were going duo on their 3 technique defensive tackle. I think a lot of occasions it was Keanu Benton. I have to go back and look once again. I'm still trying to process all this. But right behind their Hall of Fame right guard, alongside Cooper Beebe, who, if you guys remember, listen, all offseason long, I was probably overly ambitious as to the effect that Cooper Beebe would have in the middle of a first-team All-Pro and a first-ballot Hall of Famer. Just as far as his physical stature, the people mover that he is, much different than the guy that we got used to, who's moved on now, Mr. Biotish. We saw that play out tonight. Cooper Beebe was moving folks up out of there. And that is, they were missing. Alex Highsmith was one of their best edge rushers, but that's on the opposite side of the football that the Cowboys were running behind for the majority of that night. They were going to TJ Watt's side over and over and over again, downhill, controlling A and B gap, and punching people in the mouth. This Cowboys team could not do that a year ago. They tried and they failed on numerous occasions against playoff caliber opponents. And yes, I know. Look, listen, we ain't going to play this game where y'all moving the goalpost on me either, okay? I was told that the Cowboys didn't have a chance to win this game. I even felt a lot of the same, I echoed the same sentiments. Okay, so y'all don't get to tell me that the Cowboys ain't going to win that game. And then when they do, you say, oh, well, the Steelers' offense sucks. They were 3-0 8 days ago, undefeated. Now they've lost 2 straight, but that's a damn good football team at home. And that defense especially. The Cowboys left, I don't even know how many points off the board. Blocked field goal. Dak fumbled in the red zone. Dak threw a pick in the red zone. So let's just say bare minimum, they get field goals on all 3 of those. That's 9 points minimum right there. But I like to think they're punching one of those in. If you don't turn it over, you're probably punching one of those in. Call it 15 points just from self-inflicted errors. I mean, it was just cool. It's cool to see the country club Cowboys show up with a little bit of grit, a little bit of fight in them, and be prepared to win a phone booth football game. That's cool, man. We ain't used to seeing that. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I'm texting my group chat. That's one's a freaking dudes, man. One of them's a Bucks fan, diehard. The other one's an Eagles fan. Just 3 of us in a chat. We keep it real with each other. The chat is actually the foundation of it is called Safe Place. That's where we go to vent when things need to be said, and where we go to have actual conductive discourse regarding our 3 specific teams and beyond. I'm like, look, y'all, hey, no complaints from me. I had tempered expectations going into this game. I didn't know what we would see. I hoped we would see some fight, maniacal effort on the defensive front 7. And I hope that we would see Mike McCarthy kind of tap into some of the easy buttons of modern offensive football. And I got both of those things. And I'm calling it out live. I'm posting on Twitter as it's happening. I'm like, yes, thank you. 10 days to prepare. They're getting stuff right now. They're playing like with borderline reckless abandon, hair on fire. Old school, physical Cowboys football. They've been front runners. Me saying most one-dimensional football team I can ever recall seeing in my adult life isn't just to sound cute. That's real. And it was even real 2 weeks ago. Again, still. You got abused by the Ravens, who copy and pasted exactly what the Packers and the 49ers have consistently done to you. And the Bills. What's up with Dak and Lamb on INT? CeeDee Lamb said, jump balls, I got you. That's exactly what he said. So it's just cool, man. Like I said, show me you're willing to do it 2 weeks in a row, and then 3, and then 4. You got to go on the road. You're playing the 2 North Stars of the NFC the next 2 weeks. You're banged up as you can possibly be. You're catching the Lions the week after a bye. You're at a significant disadvantage already. But then you add all the injuries on top of that. Good luck to you, bro. That's what I'm saying. That team's going to show up ready. You are going to show up blistered, battered, and bruised from the all-out war, the brawl that just occurred on Sunday Night Football that played well into the Monday night hour. And you got to go do it again. Maniacal effort from the defensive front 7. Can you hold on a little bit longer? You know what I'm saying? Like, The reinforcements are actually coming. They're on the way. Micah's not done for the year. D-Law's not done for the year. No, we don't know how long Marshawn Nealon's going to be out. God bless him, man. Dude, we talked about as soon as the Cowboys selected him. Yep, ready-made NFL run stoppability right there. Maris Liufau, ready-made NFL game-wrecking potential right there. Fast, hair on fire, downhill, physical. You're not going to bully me. I'm going to meet you in the A-gap, the proverbial A-gap, and I'm going to bring my lunch pail with me. Guys that love football. The first video I posted after the embarrassment of the Packers just literally taking you out back, man, and having their way. The postmortem series that I called it. The very first video. Go back and rewatch it. The number one objective for the Cowboys team was to find guys. It was get more physical and find guys that love football. Genuinely, wholeheartedly love football. Because of the reasons that I've been excited to bring to you to say, hey, look, we're finally getting it. You know what I'm saying? Tonight, I'm happy to present tonight that I saw some positivity. It has been the lowest hanging fruit for this team not being able to get over the hump in the postseason. Against teams that want to win in a similar fashion that the Pittsburgh Steelers prefer to and are really good at winning from. Flournoy was on the field a lot tonight. He didn't flash in the way that I expected him to. And most of that is attributed to the time or the lack thereof that Dak had in the pocket. Okay. Things aren't, he's at this stage of his career, he's not a nuanced route runner. Okay. But guess what? If you listened carefully to my preview of Ryan Flournoy that I posted last night, you would have heard very clearly I was not expecting him to make an impact or to just set the league on fire as a receiver. What I did expect and what I did see, and you know what, I can even prove it to you because I've got videos of it here. Make sure y'all are checking in with me on the YouTube side of things so y'all can follow along, please. I really do appreciate that. Just look at our guy right here. Bulldog mentality. Ryan Flournoy, top of the screen. Look at that punch. That's just one. There were a couple other occasions in which I responded to a message on here. I noted he flashed to me because, you know, he jogs on the field, big 8-0. He walks out there. I'm watching closely because obviously I was pretty outspoken on his behalf. So I wanted to see if my gut feeling was leading me astray or if it was right. And you know what? It turned out to be pretty darn close. Okay. There were a couple times, the first, I want to say 2 or 3 different occasions in the first 2 drives where I noticed he sealed a lane, completely took whoever was lining up across from him out of his gap responsibility. Not like, you know, not taking him out of the frame or out of the picture, but sealing, but like, you know, grabbing cloth, moving him out of the way and holding on. You know, actually staying in front of people, knocking people back. Unlike Brandon Cooks, okay, who is not cooked, by the way. Use him like you use Turpin tonight routinely, you get a lot of the same results. Yes, Turpin has more juice. Yes, I want to continue to see Turpin get the ball more. Okay, but the whole Brandon Cooks is cooked thing is short-sighted and it's simple-minded. Got to dig a little bit deeper. And the digging deep component of that was the second key. Or not the second. It was the 1B key to the maniacal effort on the defensive front seven. And that was Mike McCarthy figuring it out, man. And, you know, Rico Dowdle answered the bell, showed up, ready for a fight. I know he set a couple personal records tonight for himself, a couple career highs. 20 carries, 87 yards, 4.4 per tote. It's pretty good. It's not elite, but it's much better than the Cowboys have been in years past and early and leading into this point of the season. Paired that up with 2 catches for 27 yards and a very, very critical touchdown. Second week in a row with a receiving touchdown. There's clearly a level of trust there between him and Dak Prescott. That's good to see. Okay. That's running back 1 right now. All right. The Dalvin Cook thing, I know that's a popular topic right now, but just goes to show you, okay, I've been very firm on this. Once again, y'all have heard me say this countless times. It's not about the who in the running game. Yes, the who helps, but for this Cowboys team, they had to solve the how first, and it finally seems like they're about to start doing that. All right. I think I've said everything that needs to be said. Let's go get through some of these comments here. I know y'all have been waiting anxiously. Had me shake. Man, when I saw Rico, yeah, that's a good point, Z-Money. When I saw Rico fumble, my soul left my body a little bit. I was like, oh, Lord. Camacho, the Nacho, how we doing, bro? Hell of a game-winning drive. Yes, it was. The Steelers' defense is the real deal. Yes, they are. They are the real deal. That's a talented football team, man. Physical football team. Very limited offensively, but we discussed that, you know. That's a team that, if you let them, will run the football downhill at you 40 times in 12 and 13 personnel, much like the Ravens did, much like the Bills did, much like Packers did, much like the Saints could have. Funny, man. Zeke hurt with a shoulder injury. Okay, that's good news. Or not good news. That's good to know. Sadiqa, I wasn't aware of that. Thank you. Micah and Tank were not missed. The defensive. Yeah, okay, so that's another thing that I told y'all yesterday in the preview was that. And Cameron, hey, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. He says, sent you 10 on Cash App, brother. Thanks for what you do. Thank you. Because without you guys, what I do is a lot less fun and a lot less meaningful. It's about the community. So thank you. Once again, appreciate that. I lost my train of thought there for a second. I'll find it. But, it was the difference between Micah and D-Law to Marshawn Nealon before his injury, obviously, and Chauncey Golston, while significant, not as drastic as people were either led to believe or just convinced themselves to believe, right, single-handedly, especially in the run game. That was my direct quote. And that proved to be like that once again, they showed up ready for a fight, and they were more than willing and able. They played with discipline, rush lane integrity, and they played with maniacal effort physically, controlling the line of scrimmage. I don't even know what the Steelers' totals were. Let's go pull those up real quick here too. I want to know what their per carry average was, because it wasn't that much. A massive step in the right direction for this Cowboys team. Completely decimated, did not matter. Why? Because the maniacal effort was enough to overcome it. Man, this guy's good. Talk to me, chat. Let's go. Y'all ain't tired yet. I'm getting there, but y'all ain't. CD needs to quit checking Dak on the sidelines. Not a fan of these diva receivers. So agree with the second part. Who was that? Mike. I'm not sure if you peeped or heard, but CD wasn't checking him on the sideline. He said, jump balls, I got you. That was his quote. It's on my Twitter. Cowboys Steelers stats. Let me see this per carry totals here for. I can't wait to watch this film again. This is going to be one of the most fun film watching sessions I've had in a very long time, just because of the nature of the game, the physicality that both teams played with. It was man, pads were popping. Dak Prescott drifted to his. Okay, wait, what am I doing? See, I can't even think straight anymore because I'm so tired. Woo. Najee Harris, 14 carries, 42 yards for a whopping Cowboys-esque in recent history, 3.0 yards per carry average for the day. Justin Fields, a little bit better, a little bit more efficient in that department. Obviously, it makes sense, right, with the extra hat in the running game. 6 carries for 27 yards, 4.5 per tote. You're supposed to be better when you have 11 guys all moving in the same direction as opposed to 10. The extra hat in the run game counts, and it matters a lot, especially for Justin Fields, who has taken the league by storm numerous times, where teams just don't have the discipline, the eye discipline, and the rush lane integrity to neutralize him when he tucks it and runs. He is every bit as capable and able-bodied in the open field as Lamar Jackson is as a ball carrier. The Cowboys shut that down. They shut it down. Eric Kendricks was playing lights-out downhill physical football tonight. The opening play of the game, you could tell. I mean, I just kind of knew. I was like, all right, I hope this is the sign of what I think it is. Okay, you see, they went that zone read concept exactly how we said that they probably should. Let's test the eye discipline for the Cowboys. Opening play, and that's exactly what they did. Eric Kendricks, he shuffles, he keeps his outside shoulder free. He's got the edge contained, and it's just like he had a mental lapse. I don't know. He was just like caught up between taking away that little check down dump off, like making sure Justin Fields didn't try to like backdoor him, and lose him that way. But he just kind of, it's like he forgot to turn and run and just commit to beating him to the edge, like get more downhill. And Justin Fields, and he ended up turning what should have been a minimal or no gain into about 6 or 7 yards on that opening play. But, just once again, Kendricks, man, I need to see his totals because I know he was all over the field. 10, there it is right there. 10 total tackles. What are y'all still seeing? Y'all aren't seeing anything. Okay, let me get back to the screen share so y'all can follow along with me. 10 total tackles. He led the team tonight. That's kind of what it seemed like. That's what the eye test told me. Where are we at? No. Here we go. Right there. EK 5-0, 10 total tackles, 4 solo, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass deflection, 1 quarterback hit. DeMarvion Overshown, 8 total tackles, 7 solo. So Demo had the most solo tackles on the night, which, once again, not surprising. The pursuit and space, the ability to close gaps. I mean, it's an IQ thing at this point, y'all. It has to be. It's not just a raw ability. Because your eyes and your IQ have to tell you where to go before you can get there with any bit of athleticism, regardless of how gifted you are. You got to be able to anticipate, diagnose, and trigger. 7 solo tackles for DeMarvion Overshown tonight. 4 solo tackles for Malik Hooker. Notice him kind of flying around a little bit. That makes sense. Amari Oruwariye had a really nice play containing the edge. He's able to kind of knife through a would-be blocker and flip. I think it was either Najee or Justin Fields into the air for like a very minimal gain, but they had numbers to that edge. He set the edge. He kind of like gave a little hezzy double move or whatever, knifed through the would-be blocker and said, hey, I think it was Najee, because I remember thinking to myself, yeah, that's a tough dude to commit to going low on and just saying, hey, here we go. Hold on tight, buckle up. But he did it, and he hit him hard. It was almost, it was textbook execution as far as I'm concerned as a corner. In that situation, you've got 3 or 4 blockers barreling down at you. 2 of which were offensive linemen, I'm pretty sure. And then a 240-pound running back, nonetheless, right behind that freight train coming. It's just like, really good job for a guy that's been chilling on your practice squad, your 5th cornerback right now, getting every rep today for the most part, starter caliber reps, and made a couple big plays. So Donovan Wilson, that's a game that I thought he would have some success in. I'd have to go reevaluate him in coverage. I don't, it's not like Justin Fields' arm beat us a lot tonight. Let's see what his total numbers were, just so we're all on the same page. 15 out of 27 for 131 yards, 4.5. I mean, that's nothing, y'all. Sacked him 3 times. A 35.5 quarterback rating. Dak Prescott, on the other hand, 29 for 42, 352 yards, 8.5 per. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 3 total turnovers for Dak, actually. With a quarterback rating still, though, of 70.1. Passer rating of 90.6. So, very encouraged. You're going to get reinforcements. Help is on the way soon. Right, DeRon Bland, you got an all-pro corner coming back soon. His window is, I think he's got 2 more. Did they open his window? Somebody let me know in the chat. I don't know. I'm too tired to remember. Yeah, see, Tutti Frutti, I talked about that a little bit earlier too. That's the way it is, man. But when we win, it's the Steelers' offense isn't that good, though. Yeah, and somebody tweeted it out. I should have probably saved it, but all the experts, quote unquote, were predicting the Cowboys to lose tonight. And of course, you know what they're going to say tomorrow. Steelers are a terrible offense. They're a bad team. When they were being championed 2 weeks ago when they were undefeated, or 8 days ago, actually. They were 3-0. Fill up this water real quick. Y'all bear with me. Whew. Man, my head is freaking pounding right now because the tank's been on E as far as sleep is concerned. I've been looking at a screen way too long all day. My brain is just tired, y'all, but still fired up for a win of that magnitude. That was a fun one. It's a really fun one. I appreciate y'all tapping in with me. What else we need to talk about? What am I forgetting? Y'all talk to me before we get out of here. Let me know in the chat, please. Why we didn't leave Tyler at left tackle and drafted a guard? Because Tyler Smith is a first-team All-Pro in his first year playing the left guard position. The ceiling is astronomical there. Continuity is still king, which is why I kind of prefaced the whole deal at the beginning. I don't know what the Cowboys are going to do. I'm going to have to go back and evaluate it. But it looked to me like the pocket was a lot cleaner with Tyler Smith and TJ Bass on the left side, as opposed to Tyler Guyton and Tyler Smith. I don't know. I still think the best potential 5 this year is with Tyler, Cooper, Zach, Terrence. No question. That's by far your most potential. I just don't know if that's in the best interest of the team right now. Could it be a blessing in disguise? Maybe. We'll see. I'll leave it at that. I mean, yeah, their pass rushers did get hurt, but they were already on their secondary guy as well. That was you're talking about Alex Highsmith was out going into that game. It is a fair assessment, though, because what's their the guy that started in Highsmith's place today? What's his name? Somebody help me out. If Dak's going to throw the ball 40-plus times a game, should they consider giving him another wide receiver who can dominate? He had to dish it around to 9 different guys and barely squeezed out the win. So that's a fair question too. And, it's kind of a topic that a lot of people have been discussing lately, right? Yeah, it's absolutely fair to say that they could use some help at that position. But once again, to me, you guys know it hasn't been my lowest hanging fruit. Right. The 2 lowest hanging fruits were being physical and finding ways to run the football. And they did both of those things tonight, and you got the win. You can win an ugly football game. Tonight, it was less to do with Dak having to throw it 40 times and to whatever inadequacies they have at the receiver position. It was more to do with them turning the football over too much, Dak in particular. Solely responsible for putting the ball in the other team's hands 3 times. Yeah, he was very uncomfortable in the whatever we want to call that pocket tonight. Okay. They fought and they won their share, sure. But the Steelers were getting after him a little bit, especially early on. And you could see him. He's retreating, throwing the football off of his back leg. That's not, you got to do what you got to do. Credit to him for hanging in there and for stepping up, flushing the pass, and showing up when it mattered, helping your team get the win. Hell of a catch by Jalen Tolbert after getting racked by the football that skipped right into his crotch. The play before that, strong hands, man. I'm sitting there like I'm waiting for that ball to just slip out. And here we go again. We have a Des Bryant. Did he complete the process of the catch situation? Like, I swear to you, that flashed before my head right as I'm watching that play unfold live. He's like, got the football out here like this. And I'm like, oh, that's going to pop out. Because they were wrestling. You saw that, and it never did. So tremendous credit to him. That's a testament to the work that he's put in with Dak. For Dak to trust him in that situation, that's a tight window throw, a very difficult, small margin for error, right? Very, very small target, very tiny radius, and he put it right where it needed to be. Tolbert met the football. Once again, go watch the Brandon Cooks breakdown. Is he cooked? The routes that Dak went to, he went to Tolbert on, I know for sure, 2 other like critical third down and got to have it situations. A stop route where Tolbert is allowed to use more of his length and physicality to create just a little bit extra separation on those timing routes. The 3rd and 7s to the sticks when you got to just, hey, ball's got to be out to a spot. You have to get there. I have to trust you to be there. Brandon Cooks struggles in that department. Why? Because it's harder to slow down the older you get. The speed is not a problem for him. The problem was the Cowboys were asking him to do things that he's much less equipped to do. Tonight, they used the right body types to do the things that they were asking Brandon Cooks to do. And they replenished his role with more youthful exuberance and speed. And they got Kevontae Turpin the football while he was moving. On the run, on the move. No stop routes for small guys like that, like him, Brandon Cooks, whoever. Let fast guys be fast and leave it at that. So, Herbig. Thank you, DC Moore. That's correct. Yeah, Nate Herbig. Yeah, he got hurt tonight, but it was a steady rotation of pressure from just all across the front 5. I need to go see how many pressures they gave. It was a lot, man. And it was happening quick. But to me, it just felt like, I don't know if the offense just got into a rhythm. You could be right. Like I said, I got to go back and look at it. I'm still trying to process all of this. But to me, it seemed as if Dak was able to stand in the pocket longer than the 2-minute drill to go win the game, really throughout the fourth quarter. I could be wrong. I don't know. That's just what it felt like to me. I wonder what they're going to say when we beat the Lions. I can't even think about that right now, dude. I really can't. We'll figure out the run game. They just need to marry the pass, the run, like you've been saying, Vincent Batista. Yeah, man. Thanks for following along and being here, even despite it being what time we got? Watch is dead. That's how late it is. Ooh. Hope y'all are having as much fun as I am, man. This is cool. It's cool to see a team show a little bit of resilience when they were counted out by most, including many members of their own fan base. But I'm not saying that those thoughts, those feelings were unwarranted, because, you know, they absolutely were. So that's what makes it fun. You kind of have your tempered expectations, and then they pleasantly surprise you. Cool stuff, dude. Cool stuff. Why we didn't leave, I've already read that one. Yeah, turnovers and penalties. I think it was about 100 yards in total penalties. Can't happen. 3 turnovers. Did the Cowboys force any? I don't think they did. It was 4 turnovers, right? Because there was the block kick as well. It was a fumble, 2 picks, and a block. It was 4 turnovers. Freaking 4, man. And I don't think we had any. That should tell you right there. The turnover margin is one of the most synonymous indicators of wins and losses. Like, the team that wins the turnover margin, I think, what's the stat? Even if it's like +1, you win 70% of the games. What's the win percentage when you lose the turnover battle by 4? Can you have a negative percentage of victories? I don't think you can. But that's what it seems like it should be, probably, you know? Got some peppermint going. I told you my head's hurting a little bit, but we're going to grind through it. Peppermint's my go-to remedy for eye strain or headaches or whatever. I need to put my glasses back on, though. That's what really needs to happen. These blue lights keep that radiation out of my eyes. Is it safe to say that we know who was playing here? Okay, so thank you for bringing me back on track, Jody, because I was going to mention this earlier too, and we'll probably close with this. It's not necessarily an indictment on the presumptive members of the defense who were not physically present and able-bodied today, who sometimes take it upon themselves to do too much, take themselves out of their run fits, try to play hero ball, right? And ultimately, in certain occasions, are a detriment to the defense playing as one. That's real. And that there is reason, there are legitimate reasons as to why that narrative has been brought up. But caveat, okay? Y'all ready? Chicken or egg? DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons know and have known what we have known on this channel. And it's that the Cowboys are physically ill-equipped to do the necessary things to just consistently not get bullied. And so it sort of forces that behavior. Okay. And in some respects, I admire it, because it shows the want to, it shows their love for the game, it shows their leadership. Okay. It's good qualities. It's with good intention. Right? But it says the ultimate team sport here. Okay. And so, yes, that's why there was no panic on my end when I talked to you guys about maniacal effort as the #1 key to this game. If you play with gap integrity and borderline reckless abandon, okay, maniacal effort, it erases a lot of things. How much do you love football? How physical are you willing to be? the number one question in my number one video that I posted in the postmortem series after you got embarrassed by Green Bay. Find guys that love football. Find guys that love being physical. That's Marshawn Nealand. That's Micah Parsons. That's DeMarcus Lawrence. Yes. But find some more of those guys. Okay? That's DeMarvion Overshown. That's Maris Leofau. Tonight, that was Eric Kendricks, because this is a team that he thrives playing against. Downhill. 10 total tackles. That's who I can't wait for everybody to see unleashed, much like Ryan Flournoy, who I was excited about for the exact same reasons. Physicality, okay? Wanye Thomas loves football, loves being physical. At some point, you'd think, especially against more pass-happy teams, it's got to be Wanye Thomas's turn. Jordan Lewis. That's a good one. That's a guy that dude right there. If the Cowboys make the playoffs this year, he'll be one of the unsung heroes and one of the low-key MVPs of this team. That dude's tough. That dude is always in the right place. That dude, he has been the one constant in the maniacal effort department for as long as I can remember. And he's been constantly counted out. I think he's what, year 8 now with this team? They tried to replace him last year. Put him on the bench. Hey, Deron Bland's going to play the slot now. We're going to go get Stephon Gilmore. Sorry, bud. Think that pissed him off a little bit? Yeah. I bet you it did. And I think there's a lot of the same reasons why we're seeing the product that we're seeing right now. Little chip on your shoulder. Do a lot of things for you. You start getting Cowboys Nation, America's favorite team to hate, fake take sports media, your mamas, your daddies, your aunts, your uncles. They all start to see the headlines and all the chirping. Cowboys are soft, man. Country club Cowboys, front runners. Gut check. Pittsburgh. Detroit. San Francisco. Atlanta. You want Amari Cooper? You want Jeffrey Simmons? You want Devontae Adams? You want insert trade market candidate X player here? Go prove to your front office that you're willing to fight for it. Tonight they fought. That was a lot of freaking fun. I'm going to get out of here, guys. It's way too late. I love y'all. You know what to do with the like button. Tell somebody where to find the fastest growing and the best Cowboys content producer on the market right now. Okay. The Kings, the Trailblazers, y'all already know who they are. Those are my guys. And I follow their lead. Okay. But my time is coming thanks to y'all. Okay. I appreciate that. Appreciate the support. It means everything to me. All right. Y'all sleep well. And we'll talk to you soon, man. Prayer changes things, guys. Let go and let God, and the war's already won. Talk to you soon.